Time in Pokemon is weird, right? Even the most casual fan could have booted up Pokemon Moon at 9 PM and wondered why it was bright as day outside. Ever since the mechanic was introduced in Generation 2, every game has had some sort of involvement with time. In fact, it was so important in Gen 2, you even set the clock before you named your trainer. I wish I realized that was abnormal before I minted that birth certificate, but at least it's easier to change one than it is to change the time in Gen 2. Why would you even want to do all this time travel trigonometry though? Well, depending on how in-depth the game decided to go, different Pokemon could show up at different times of day, certain events could only happen on specific days of the week, or NPCs would even wish you a happy birthday and note severe meteorological implications. Wait, what? I kinda just wanted to talk about Espeon and Umbreon. Somehow, on your birthday in certain later games, snowy weather will change to Diamond Dust, a twinkling variant of the weather that can even disable the damaging effects of hail in certain games. Now I'm convinced Dialga or Palkia were right in Mystery Dungeon. Generation 3 probably has the least influence on time, since only the Hoenn games even had you set a clock right at the beginning of the game and never had obvious variations. Even still, time moved on in the background to check things like berry growth, time-based evolutions, and, most importantly, the Tide and Shoal Cave. The passage of time itself isn't always consistent though. In certain games it follows standard conventions, but others have their own rules. Sword and Shield clock, for example, only moves with story progress until after you've become the champion. I guess we really could have avoided the whole Darkest Day plot if Rose just took a different approach. Other than that, some games have lovely attention to detail, like houses in Generation 5 keeping their lights on at night only until so late into the morning, or even having longer days in the summer. Scarlet and Violet even have different regions in the DLC that are far enough away to be considered different time zones. They've got their own system of time passing based on a smaller scale of real-life time, and don't worry, if you're ever curious what time it is in Paldea, Bulbapedia has a convenient chart for you.